Yeah, well, on that, I'd like to move over to your other segment in part three, which was about power lifters, female power lifters, and how they are um, inspiring turbo pit fighters. So, with that being said, this will be where
Female
we end
powerlifters,
part two,
right?
and then
So
we
yeah,
will catch up in part
as people
three
may
about
know, a lot of
power
comics. Here
lifters.
you can see I'm just drawing out of imagination, but a lot of comics and comic artists use photo references. You want to get the anatomy right. Sometimes you want a unique pose. Sometimes you want to get, for me, I want to always try to get like, actual fluidity of motion. You have when you're an artist, you have to think of like where the character's weight is. Is it on the left foot, on the right foot? Like thinking about that makes it a lot more realistic when you're doing poses and positions. Um, but um, I was watching Cartoonist Kayfabe, I think yesterday, or just listening to it a little bit, and they did a feature of Paul Gulacy, who was one of my
Yeah.
faves. Yeah, and we talk about him all the time. He's most famous for Master of Kung Fu, probably, but they were doing a flip through of a book that he did called like Vixens, Heroes, and Martial, and Kung Fu or something. And I didn't even get through the whole episode, but one really important thing that they said, which I wasn't aware of, was that when Paul Gulacy first got the job to do Master of Kung Fu, he was not the Paul Gulacy we know now. He was still, kind of developing.
It's a
And
kid.
what, yeah, well, I don't know how old he was, but I'm sure, but he had a long run on Master of Kung Fu. So, what he did, the first thing he did was he went and got some Bruce Lee movies, like Enter the Dragon, and he and a friend were watching videos of it, a video VHS of it, and they freeze framed, um, and then they were taking photos off the screen which Paul Gulacy would end up using for his entire career of all these photos. They would have printed out photos of Bruce Lee doing poses and fighting and kicking people's ass, and they even show the well, not cartoonist kayfabe, but the you can see online, some people have side by side famous images from that movie, from those movies, and Paul Gulacy's artwork that was inspired by it. And sometimes it's not very obvious either. Sometimes you're just looking at a part of it, or you just want some lighting, or you just want some sinews or some musculature or something. But the point being, when we have photo references to look at, it can really help our job, in applying it to whatever story we're doing. And for us, it's always great to look up, for references of muscular women. We're doing, this character here. This is Turbo, and we're doing another series that Kurt alluded to before called B Movie She Devils. And they're all going to be kind of like these stocky, muscular women. There's going to be like a team of them that builds slowly over time in this like the making of B movies storyline. So browsing online, you very quickly come across a lot of these like influencer figures, characters, and I found a couple that were pretty interesting. One of them is named Yulia Viktorovna, and sometimes she goes like by Yulia Vins, Vins. And she has a Instagram, TikTok, whatever. She's online. Just Google it. She started out when she was only like 17, I think, or they started posting pictures of her. She's a power lifter. I think I saw one site that said she was 20 now. But the thing about her is like, she's really muscular, and and she does these like poses of her like making muscles and flexing and everything, and sometimes they show her lifting weights and squatting and doing stuff like that, but she's got this like real, like almost caricature-ish baby doll face, And so they have some like, some memes of her like, is this real? Is this, a baby doll power lifter? And she's real, right? Because you can filter those things nowadays. But, I saw a YouTube video. She was spotlighted in some media. She's Russian, so everything's translated. She even said that in Russia it's hard to get nutritious food, and so it's hard for her to reach her goals, and all this stuff. So maybe that's real. She's being critical of Russia. Um, but very interesting, to see that there is this new aesthetic, and there is this new kind of like celebration of women who work out, and they're doing like body sculpting and all this stuff, and it's a good thing. They used to be made fun of. They used to be called freaks or men, and people would have this real big like issue with the fact that they might have like a feminine face and a really built upper body, muscular arms and really muscular legs sometimes. Sometimes their legs are like popping out. They're so like, they're so massive. Um, there is another power lifter named who I believe is American, named Jessica Butner, who's in the same category too. And I don't know if they monetize their like feeds. I don't think these are like OnlyFans type of things, because it isn't like, fetishy and gawky. It's really just you know, people that are inspired other people to go work out. It's such a good thing to do, to go out and work out. And so you need these heroes, and people to inspire you. And there's dozens, if not hundreds, of these online that anybody could go find now, if on your favorite app. But these were some names that we kind of highlighted or bookmarked, because they're kind of like standing out as poster children for this new kind of movement of not being ashamed to be a power lifter and a female at the same time, and have a kind of like a different body type, than has been traditionally celebrated, in fashion magazines and popular culture. Um, and I'm sure that Kurt is going to flash pictures of Yulia and Jessica Butner, so people can see what we're talking about. But you know, um, it's really interesting, and you could really go down the rabbit hole. Like, I tell my students, that, they're like, Mr. Jacobs, can I use my phone? I want to like bring up a picture of Sonic the Hedgehog so I could draw him. And I'm like, okay, sometimes I get permission for this. And, you know, just the act of them going into Google Images and putting in Sonic the Hedgehog, and then you get the results. You can get you can get distracted, and you can be flipping through pictures, for minutes, which turn into half an hour, and then the kid is just staring, tantalized at their phone. And I am guilty of the same thing, where I could be on a laptop and it's like, oh, I just want to see if I can find a picture of like somebody raising their right arm, from the back view. I just want to see like how the shoulder blades pop out and all that. And the next thing you know, it's like an hour later, and you're looking at pictures of Jessica Butner, and Yulia Viktorovna, because it's that's kind of like the mesmerizing nature of online. If you're looking at this, then they give you pictures of that, and 1 minute you're looking at Sonic the Hedgehog, next minute you're looking at Pokemon. It's like it keeps on grabbing you. So it's kind of like a skill nowadays to negotiate search engines and sites like DeviantArt and Tumblr and comic art fans, and finding the good stuff, separating the wheat from the chaff. And I got to be honest with you, Kurt. I'm kind of stuck. In I've been doing story breakdowns and plotting out our B movie She Devil franchise. We're just in the early planning, but I'm looking for some faces. I'm trying to find a face that is going to inspire each character. And it would be really good if it was like an actress, because then you could go to a movie and you can get angles from the left, angles from the right. And you never really want to make it exactly the face. Not that I'm that good of an artist anyway, where I could do it. Like if I was going to draw Julia Roberts, it wouldn't come out looking like Julia Roberts, but it would come out better than if I just sat down to draw with a blank piece of paper, right? Because you're just taking notes, or you're taking this and that, and then it's going through this kind of natural filter that we all have as artists, that kind of like individualizes it. So I have found a face and an actress that has inspired Elevena, young Elevena, and I kind of put that on the side, because she has glasses. And then I've been looking lately for I mean I do have some examples of different body types, whether it's photographs or drawings or different kinds of illustrations for Turbo. But we need to do this for all the characters. Otherwise you're making it up, just on a model sheet, character design sheet, and what happens is it ends up just looking like everything else you always draw. It's just like your style coming out again, because that's how you draw bodies, and you could say, all right, I'm gonna make the legs a little thicker, I'm gonna make the arms a little thicker and everything. But from character to character, that's the great thing about real life, is that we're all snowflakes and we're all individual, and everybody has a different looks. And it's just the way that the proportions and the way that the elements of the face and the elements of the body are put together, that's just the miracle of life. And so, I was looking. We are going to have an Asian character, a South Asian character, in the later stages of B Movie She Devils, and I drew a sketch of a powerful, maybe like Cambodian or Vietnamese kind of like soldier girl, coming out of the woods or coming out of the jungle. Um, but I don't have a face. The face I drew I wasn't happy with, and I just like started putting in keywords like Asian face, Cambodian actress, like exotic face, and so it's like, what keywords do you even start with? And it's so weird. I'm not getting good results. I maybe flipped around a couple times looking for something that I can use and just build on, but not haven't found it yet. So the search will go on, and
AI.
yeah, right. You're right. Yeah,
Go to Bing and use their AI chat,
right.
and it will do probably what you most definitely need. Because I've been using Stable Diffusion 1.5 with
Yeah,
playgroundai.com, and now I just have to say I don't obsess over looks that much, or specificity in Julia Roberts or the likes. I mean, there could be a start in my head where I would say, hey, I want her to look like Julia Roberts. But even if I just start drawing from a photo of Julia Roberts, once something clicks, like, there you go. And it's probably because she has a bigger jaw than Julia Roberts, or something like that, or nose, I go to town. But with
yeah,
AI, um, you're not only going to be able, through like Bing chat, be able to get ultra specific. It's going to help you get ultra specific, and then I believe, I haven't tried it yet. You can then bring in the AI generator, where it will then create a new image of your now version of Julia
yeah.
Roberts.
Well, before there was AI doing that, there was also like tracing paper where you could take the eyes from one face and put
Yeah,
put it with the nose of another face and
yeah.
put it with the mouth of it. Yeah, I mean, but so it's just like,
But one of
technology,
the persons
moving.
that I always really looked towards, and it came out of drawing the Marvel Wave, was that John Buscema in drawing the Marvel Wave has like two faces of women. One's the demure damsel type woman, and then the other one is the more like
Uh-huh.
aggressor. I don't want to say evil, but just the one that has, yeah, has a
Thundra.
little bit
Yeah,
more of
one
an
is Sue
agenda,
Storm and the other one is
to it and
Thundra.
stuff. But then he even speaks to adding weight and age to those two faces. So even he, just pretty much dealt with, the cliche and tropes of this kind of uh, Ava Gardner, versus Marilyn Monroe type of faces. So